Popping on July 4th. Went over to some family house, man, friends and family, bro. And man, we had a good time. And fireworks were just popping over at the lake. And man, there's even more fireworks popping now uh, with the name Ryan Garcia. And we said we got to tackle this one. So Ryan Garcia is our subject for today. But before all that, how you doing, Tug?
Hey man, I'm wonderful, bro. Blessed to be here.
That's right. Yep. And thank everybody for tuning in to 411 Sports World Network. Remember, there's a couple things you can do that don't cost anything. And these are ways to support not only 411 Sports World Network, but Hot Tub Tony, Cole from the Low, all the other people out here in the media, sports and media world that are doing their thing and working hard from the ground up. You can write positive reviews, tell your friends and family, follow social media, engage in the post, give shout outs, sign up for newsletters, all that. Look at that tab right there, $0. So all it takes is a little bit of effort to help someone get along. You never know. That little push that you give somebody might lead them to their destination. Also, check me out on TikTok. There's a QR code. You can scan that with your iPhones or your Android. I'm an Android guy. Mr. 411, you can type that in and you'll find us there too. Also, the same thing on Instagram. Type in Mr. 411. You'll find us on Instagram as well. And then again on YouTube, 411 Sports World Network. All right, the business is out the way. We're going to play our intro and we're going to come back and talk about Ryan Garcia.
Let's get it.
Man, the sports world is bumping. Hey, we talked about there was some boxing matches over the weekend, and there was a controversial decision, but we'll get into that on another day. But what we really need to talk about right now is what's going on in sports world with Ryan Garcia and comments that he has made that has led to him being suspended. So, but before we do that, we're gonna play a couple of videos, and then Hot Tub's gonna jump right on it.
Just take a look at this before I respond so you'll know where I'm coming from.
They have these stooges like Half Hat, Stephen from Django Smith, perched up to do their work. They put them on national TV. They put them on these big stages where they can have a big audience, where their words can have some influence. And they use these little monkeys like Stephen A. Smith to say the things that they can't say publicly.
All right, now that's the comments that Willie D, famous rapper from the group Ghetto Boys, had to say about some comments that Stephen A. made in reference to Ryan Garcia. We have another video that we're going to play real quick. Here it goes.
Now, how you gonna keep it real? You're a nappy head. Nappy head, that's some racist shit. Hey, that's what he's looking like. That's what he's looking like. Nappy head. Listen, us African Americans, we have more core scared than you Latinos. But that don't make our hair nappy. But that does not make our hair nappy. Don't get confused. I don't care about all facts, whatever you got to say. At the end of the day, we're African Americans. We have a different course of care. That does not mean that our hair is nappy. Look. Keep it movies. The people are not who you guys think they are. These guys talking about nappy hair. When
All right, that was the comments that were made from Ryan Garcia's dad at a pre-fight, interview session before Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia had their bout. and you could hear that there was some racist comments made by Ryan Garcia's father. But Ryan Garcia is in the news for making racist comments towards blacks and in the Muslim community. So, Hata, you want to go ahead and start this thing off?
So Mr. Ryan Garcia is in the news again, and that's not surprising considering his track record. But he took it upon himself to go on a Twitter space and basically spout white supremacist talking points. Um, Said he was a member of the KKK. Said the N word with the hard R. Said it with the A. He did double down on it when people called him out. He tried to double down on it and said he was doing it because he's against black on black crime and he's gonna always speak out on black crime, forgetting the fact that he's not speaking out on crime in his community and the Hispanic on Hispanic crime. But that's neither here nor there. So that whole thing set off a firestorm this week, and it culminated with a lot of buffoonery in our community. As you saw, Stephen A. Smith, Willie D took umbrage, and shout out to Willie D. Shout out to Dewan B. Shout out to the sport, the boxing scholar, channels that have been on code and calling out Ryan Garcia and his racism. Um, Stephen A. Smith took the route of not saying anything for the first 48 hours. Then when he finally bowed to the pressure of the black community, who said, "Hey, you the biggest biggest name in sports broadcasting, you should say something." He gave a half-hearted opinion on that, basically saying the same thing he said when Dana White with the Dana White situation. I know Ryan; he's a good guy. I consider him a friend. And I noticed a reoccurring thing that was brought up by Willie D, and I noticed it as well. Whenever a white or Hispanic athlete gets into trouble, you see those of the likes of Stephen A. Smith come out and almost defend them to a certain degree. And he wasn't the only one. Stephen Jackson. Now he made some disparaging now. Ryan Garcia made some disparaging remarks about George Floyd as well. That's Stephen Jackson's homeboy. But Stephen Jackson, even he was soft with his response to Ryan. The basic and Dez Bryant as well. Dez Bryant set off a storm on X with his comments, so much so that he had the whole black community on X coming out against him.
Yeah.
So with that said, I'm looking at my community sideways right now. Basically, what are we doing?
Mm.
What
Hey
are
man,
we
so
doing? Why are we allowing this person of Hispanic descent to disrespect our community, and we don't have the same responses that say a Jewish community had for Kanye West when he said comments?
that's a very good point. And like, because not only the Kanye, but remember with the Kyrie uh situation where Kyrie had to, but basically a pop, he was forced to do all these different things, like have these different classes and meetings, and have to uh do these 10 action items before he can come back to the NBA. Just just simply off of making a comment about that he saw a movie, right? And like, but you're right, like the community stood up. They really stood up on something. And this is a clear and obvious situation where the black community needs, we need to stand up on this one
We need to be on
because
one accord on this.
exactly, we need to be on one accord. I like that even better. Not only stand up, but stand up as one on this one and shut that down because what he said was definitely way off base and wouldn't have been accepted if it was the other way around. You know what I mean? And do you think that and I remember hearing some of the things that Stephen A said. Now we have the 6 minute video. It's on the TikTok page. So you can watch the 6 minute video of Stephen A and what he said. But it within some of the things that Stephen A said, he was to me, he was using the drug situation, like Ryan Garcia being on drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff, saying more so that he needs help from that vantage point more so than what he said. But to me, when you say with you drugs and alcohol, and anger, those things help bring out the real you. So,
Hmm.
what do you have to say about that?
I hear that time and time again whenever Ryan gets into a jam, because this is not his first time saying racist comments. Before he went pro, he said racist comments on social media, and a lot of people tend to forget that. And we start chalking up, well, he's on drugs, and I would challenge that response, because as you saw earlier, as you played the video, his dad called Devin Haney's father a nappy-headed monkey. So that should tell you right now, it's no, it's not the drugs, it's not the alcohol, it's his culture. He was brought up to be racist, because we have an example: racist comments from your dad, racist comments from you. So, and I think there's a bigger conversation need to be had, because what we haven't seen in this whole situation is any condemnation from the Hispanic community. You don't hear Telemundo, anybody on Telemundo condemning him, saying we strongly disagree. We don't condone Ryan Garcia's comments. You don't see any other Hispanic boxers saying that. You don't see any media outlets putting microphones in their faces and asking them what's their opinion on the Ryan Garcia situation. But had the roles been reversed, they do it to us. Nobody's asking George Lopez, "Hey, what you think about Ryan Garcia?"
Mm,
And the whole Hispanic community has been oddly quiet about this. And I say we as a community should demand that they be vocal in their condemnation of him, like they will require us to be. Because this double standard that they have going on with them, to where they feel like they can say the N word and make disparaging comments about us, and then turn around and justify, well, I'm Mexican, I get a pass. I'm Hispanic, I get a pass. Well, I got a black abuela. You having a black grandparent or black lineage somewhere in your line does not give you carte blanche to disrespect an entire community, to make disparaging remarks towards the entire community. And this is putting the Hispanic community on notice. You need to be vocal whenever situations come up like this, because far too many times you sit back and be quiet. You sit back on the sideline and you basically say, well, that's just him. It's only him. We don't all believe like that, but yet we keep seeing this time and time again, especially in the boxing arena. As we know, boxing is a proxy for racial tension, and most boxing matches break on racial lines. White guys go with white fighters, Hispanic guys go with Hispanic fighters, Asian guys go with Asian fighters, and black folks go with black fighters. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that.
right.
What is wrong is when that racial tension spills over and comments like these are made, and we don't hear the pushback from that community. There's always
Yeah.
been a tenuous relationship between black and brown. And to be honest, there really is no black and brown. There is no alliance. We live in different communities. We may live parallel to each other, but we don't mingle amongst each other. And that's just the reality of it. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. But I would demand, not request, that the Hispanic community needs to speak out. We tried to get a panel going on this, and I would love to hear from any Hispanic people that in the audience that may watch this on the playback. Feel free to put your comments up.
Hmm.
My comments reflect me and me alone. They don't reflect on Mr. 411 or Sports World Network at all.
So,
But I
the
also
king of
have,
controversy.
and I have to take an issue with our people, with Stephen A. Smiths, with the Dez Bryants, with the Jason Whitlocks. You guys have these big platforms and are scared to speak out on our issues, and on the off times that y'all do like this one with Stephen A. Smith, you don't give the same vitriol to these situations that you give had they been black athletes. I've seen Stephen A. Smith talk about us like a dog. I've seen Charles Barkley talk about us like a dog. But when I see them talk about other groups of people, there's a level of grace and patience and forgiveness that they have.
Hmm.
But we don't get extended that if we're your people.
And so
And
that's a very good call out right there because again, let's spin it back to Kyrie Irving real quick. If people may not remember it because time flies and the way technology and social media is, what happened 2 months ago is like 4 years. But when Kyrie Irving posted that tweet about the video that he saw, it immediately went to anti-Semitism and all that kind of stuff, right? And anti-Semitic and all that. And the Jewish community stood up, right? The owner of the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets at that time, they all stood up. The the NBA, was it Adam Silver, right? Jewish descent. All these folks stood up and they made their mark. But going back what you said about people in the sports world, Stephen A. Smith and a lot of others were hard on Kyrie about that.
very
You
hard.
know, I mean, they went in on Kyrie about that situation. And all he did was just post that he saw a movie. You know what I'm saying? And like that's the difference in what you're saying. That's a perfect example of where's the vitriol there? Where are we coming back strong now on this situation? Um, I guess Willie D is kind of is explaining his reason as to why he this may be the case. Do you agree with
I agree
Willie D on that?
100%. 100%. Now I'm not always on in agreement with Willie D on issues, but
Hmm.
I am with most. And on the issues that we should be on one accord and on code about, I am in lockstep with him. And I understand why he had the response that he had for Stephen A. Smith. I double down on it. Stephen A. Smith doesn't need to have a microphone if all you're going to do is condemn black athletes, and more in particular, black American athletes. So I'm seeing you do this. This is a pattern with you. This is a pattern. We expect this from Jason Whitlock. That's his whole shtick. But from you, Charles Barkley, even Shannon Sharp to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Not for this
Hmm.
particular situation, but I've watched Shannon Sharp be critical of black athletes, and I've watched Shannon Sharp give cover to white athletes and white executives and white ownership when they've done stuff wrong, as we just saw. Stephen A. gave Dana White a whole platform to clean up his image from him being a woman beater. We
And we did an
watched.
episode on that.
He let him stay on there for 3 hours. Why are we platforming women beaters? Why are we platforming racists? Why should we give them a second chance? They say, oh, well, this is not who he is, and this shouldn't be a reflection of who he is as a person. No, that's exactly who he is. This should be a reflection of him as a person. This should show everybody who Ryan Garcia really is. And we should not give cover to them. No, we let them legitimize themselves by coming on our platforms and giving these fake apologies. Because if you saw the situation, Ryan Garcia did a half-hearted apology, and his apology ended up being another slap in the face to black people.
Yep.
Because in his apology, he basically said, "I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry. I'm always keep speaking out on black crime." Who are you to speak out on black crime, Ryan Garcia? Who in the black community asks your opinion? If you want to speak out on crime in a racial crime, speak out on the Latino crime, the Hispanic on Hispanic crime. You're Mexican. Your homeland is in shambles. You have open cartels cutting up people in the middle of the street. We don't have that in our community, sir. We're not. We haven't reached that level of brutality, that level of savagery in the black community. There's not an open drug market that runs this country and located in the black community. We are not the same, sir. There is no equivalent in black America to your crime in your community. So if you want to speak on crime, I think you should sweep around your own door and clean up your community. And as far as giving Hispanics a pass, no Hispanic has to pass to say the N-word. No white person, no Asian person. It's bad enough when we say it amongst ourselves, but we can say it amongst ourselves. You can't. And the only reason that most people want to say it is the only reason that they want to say it is the fact that we took a stance and told them, no, you cannot use this word. That is the only reason why they want to use it. Because that is the only issue that we've ever pretty much been on code and say, you can't do this to us.
Right. And man, with that said, right there, hot tub, that spins us over to another former athlete. Um, about that, right? Because there is a code there that, and again, there's several. I mean, we both know there's several African Americans that don't want to use the word, don't like the word, but then there's definitely a majority of us that use the word amongst each other, right? I may not use, and I even use myself. I may not use that word when there's other people around that are not of my ethnic background. But if it's just like me, maybe a couple of my close friends or close people in my circle, that the word can come out, playing from time for time. But we know how we're using it and what we're using it for. But once it's used outside of that space by anybody else, like there's no way. There's just a level there. There's some things you just don't do. But I'm curious, why do some people think that a certain ethnic group of people are able to use the word? And you can reveal the athlete that we're talking about.
I, with that, we didn't invent the word. The word was imposed upon us. But we, as the innovative people that we are, we took a word that was supposed to demean us and flipped its whole entire meaning, flipped the vernacular and the public discussion on that word to our detriment
Hmm.
because we still don't like other people to say it.
Right.
JJ Reddick. JJ Reddick has been accused of saying it. And yet we have, LeBron. LeBron knows that's out there. JJ Reddick has zero coaching experience. He was given that position by the face of the NBA. And I think a lot of that has to do with cleaning up his image too. But in requiring that, and as this story unfolds, because there is a back and forth of whether he said it or hadn't said it. There's no actual audio, so I can't confirm or deny it.
Right.
But I
Not yet.
will say that if it does come out to be true, I expect LeBron to step up and come out and give a full throated opposition to it. I dare say JJ Redick doesn't need to be a coach if that's how you feel about your players. We dominate sports, period, all sports across the spectrum, except for maybe hockey and NASCAR, but we getting into that. But for the most popular sports, we dominate. We overrepresent in these sports.
Yeah.
Yet we continually are disrespected in these sports, and we're continually asked to not only just keep playing, but or in the words of some of these media outlets, shut up and dribble. We're expected to not speak out on social issues that affect our community. I think that does a disservice to our athletes in our community as well. Then you have those of us that are paid to go against our community. And that's what you see with your Charles Barkley's, your Emmanuel Achos, your Stephen A. Smiths. You're seeing them people being paid and platform and given big platforms and a lot of money to basically go against black people and black people's best interests. That I don't like. And that's what prompted me to come to Mr. 411 and even want to do this topic because normally this is something I would let go. I am not triggered by a racist saying racist things. I expect racists to say racist things. What I don't expect is for my people to dismiss and apologize for it. No, let him take his lumps. He don't need no goddamn help. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
excuse my language. He don't need no
No, you
help.
good, man. Hey, we
You
look,
know, he said
we
what he
it's
said.
fine. Yeah.
And we don't have to forgive him. That's the thing. We don't have to be forgive everybody. And I know that some of our elders say, well, the Bible say we should have forgiveness. Now fuck all that. I don't forgive him. Nor do I think any black person should forgive him. Let's not forget in his doubling down on his racist comments, he made disparaging comments about a black woman, Clarissa Shields.
Wow, do tell.
Called her all kind of B's and O's. The media is silent on that. And that goes to a lot of the frustration our black women have when they say they're the most disrespected. I get it. This is just another example of that. But no, he should not be forgiven. Matter of fact, he should be made to pay. Let him do the apology tour that you wanted Kyrie to go on, that you made Nick
Right.
Cannon go on, that you made Kanye go on. Make him come to the Hidden History Museum in California, to the Tariq's Museum in California. Learn about racism and racist comment. Let him go to the Civil Rights Museum. Let him write a check to 50 different black organizations, not civil rights organizations,
Mm-hmm.
and not the NAACP. He should be made to do all of that. Every time a mic is put in front of his face, we shouldn't hear nothing but "I'm sorry for disrespecting the black community." We should not even request that. We should be demanding that. That's the least he could do. ESPN, whenever he's reported on by black commentators, because that's pretty much who does the reporting when it's a racial issue. They leave their white commentators completely off the camera and let their black flunkies do all the dirty work. Well, they should be demanding the same thing from him as well. We need an apology from Ryan Garcia. Whenever he drops apology, now that ain't good enough. We need another. No, that ain't good enough. The same way that the Jewish people did Kyrie Irving.
Yep. Yep.
Because I don't like this racial double standard that's going on, where everybody gets to dump on us and disrespect us. But then when we're disrespected, nobody suffers any consequence. No, you should be a financial and a social consequence to all of this.
And this is not the first time that Ryan Garcia has been suspended. He's been
Absolutely not.
suspended, right? He's been suspended for the performance enhancing drugs, PEDs, usage. And of course, he's utilized, in my opinion, he utilized a lot of this to manipulate his fights, especially the one with Devin Haney.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Haney going into that fight was clearly he was clearly the better fighter. Um, but when you look at the weight disparity, you look at all this other stuff, Garcia was a lot stronger. He was a lot bigger and stronger in that fight. And so, you could tell that he's a manipulator, right? Like even before the fight when he was, we don't know if he was really drinking beer or not at the weigh in, but the way he was carrying on like that and doing all these answers, you could tell that he's a manipulator. You know what I'm saying? He's a slick talker. And so all this stuff is really just kind of showing you the type of person that he is. And we do need more pressure put on in this situation and not let this die down. And that's why, networks like I'm gonna take the words you say, how to. That's why networks like these are necessary out there in the sports world. Because for some reason these things are not tackled on the major networks. There is another athlete that had something to say about it, and it's the former Dallas Cowboy wide receiver Des Bryant. I know you had some things to say about the former wide receiver of the Cowboys. So what was your take on Des Bryant and his statements made about Ryan Garcia?
Do you have the copy of the tweets to put up so that people can see it? Not that one. Mm, that one.
Yep.
Give you a chance to read it. Des Bryant
Okay.
was one of the people, and that surprised me. I like Des Bryant. I like Des Bryant when he was playing. But he surprised me with his comments on there. And then when he got pressed on there, this is just a piece of the thread.
Right.
When he was pressed on it, he continued to not only double, he tripled down on his disrespect in the comments. He basically tried to justify it as, well, black people say the N word to each other, and while it's in all our music, why wouldn't we? Why can't they say it? Because we said they can't say it. That's the only reason that we need to give them. That's if somebody ever says that to you, please just hit them with that. You can't say it because I said you can't say it. That's all we need to say. We don't have to justify why we don't want you to say it. We don't have a word in our community that disrespects other groups of people. Hispanics have a word for they have a Hispanic equivalent to the N word
Mm.
in their language, and they'll call you. They'll say it to you because most of y'all have never heard this word. I say the word, it's mayate. When you hear them say that, that's the equivalent to them calling you the N word in their language. We don't have that. The only thing we can possibly say is a word that we didn't come up with. White people came up with that word. So if we don't have the equivalent for you, why do you feel that it's okay for you to disrespect me? And as far as Dez Bryant, that does not justify a racist making a racist comment just because black people say the word. Y'all black folks, a lot of y'all celebrities, y'all live in this bubble and you don't understand what's going on in real world society. I'm telling you right now, the grassroots ain't going for it. The everyday black person ain't going for it. I don't care how many Hispanic friends you have, how many white friends you have. You don't get to give them a pass. And I hear that a lot whenever they say something. Well, I got a friend that gave me a pass. He don't have a pass to say, so he can't give you a pass.
Exactly.
And to all you black people out here giving out quote unquote passes for white people and Hispanic people and Asian people to say the N word, it's gonna be consequences on you too when you come to the black community. I want to know names. I ask when the white person says around me, such gave me a pass to say, who is it? What his name is? Because what's gonna happen? Black people are fed up right now. We're fed up with how we're treated in society. We're fed up with our political system. We're fed up with the legal system. We're fed up with the economic situation in America. And it's time we start enacting punishment mechanisms for a lot of this disrespect that's given to us. I'm not advocating violence, so nobody get on here and say, "Well, Hot Tub's advocating violence." I'm not. But what I am saying is that when we shame somebody, it tends to catch on like wildfire. Very influential in that aspect. So we take this cancel culture to the next level. Not only do we need to call them out, let's demand that they start giving restitution to the victims. We are the
Right.
victims of your white supremacist comments, Ryan Garcia. Where's that $1 million check to our different organizations? So we need a check. We need Mr. 411 needs a check to his network.
Yeah.
He feels
Definitely can
aggrieved.
utilize it.
We need our reparations from you. Because that's what it is, and that's what it is. All the disrespect, that's what we should start across the board demanding. And those that
Man.
don't acquiesce to those demands, you can double down and say, okay, I won't. Well, what's your punishment mechanism? Well, that's where our black athletes need to come in and start saying, well, I don't think we need to play. And before people say, no, they're not going to do that, we can't get. But let's not forget when Donald Sterling made racist comments, the NBA was not going to force him to sell the team. the only reason that he was forced to sell the team because his black athletes got on one accord and said, if you don't get him out of here, NBA, I think Adam Silver was commissioner at the time. It was the commissioner at the time, the current one. If you don't get him out of here, we're not going to play for you. That's how that happened. And that
They hit him
pressure
at
from the
they
league,
they hit
not
him right
only
there at the bottom line.
say again,
They hit the bottom line right there.
not only did they step up, the Players Association stepped up in one of their rare appearances and chances of speaking out for our athletes. They stepped up and said, "Now, if you don't get rid of them, we're gonna walk. We're gonna do a walkout. We're basically not gonna play for you." And like you say, once you start hitting that bottom line, people start to get a little accurate.
Yep,
So let's leverage what
exactly.
we know works. We know that works. We know they don't like scrutiny. They don't like to be called racist. Call them for what they are. Scrutinize them. Hit their pockets. Send that message out to them. And I'm saying this. This is a challenge to all the black folks. Don't buy no more pay-per-view. Now I give Sulaiman his props. He did come in, and that's the basically the president of the WBO. He came in and
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
he did give Ryan Garcia indefinite suspension
Yes, he did.
to
Yep.
his credit, and he is a Hispanic, so I will give him his credit for that. He did it, although not fast enough for my liking. But I'd say we need to go further. Boxing, y'all platformed it. We need some checks cut from the WBO to black organizations. We need checks cut from Golden Boy, Oscar De La
Yeah.
Hoya, because you brought all of you who brought him to us, who propped him up, y'all need to be cutting checks too. Oscar De La Hoya, you're not off the hook because you made some racist comments in the past. So it's
Hey man,
seeming like it's a lot of anti-black racism coming out of that Golden Boy camp.
they had to shout out to
Yes, sir.
Corey. Corey's in the building. It
What's up,
says shout
Corey?
out, and there he is. He's saying they only did it because he came at them with his comments until then they didn't care.
Exactly.
Uh, yep.
I agree
Oh, what,
100%, Corey.
and what Corey saying here about Floyd? Expand on that right, a little bit there, Corey, about Floyd.
Um, I got to drop the link. I'd invite him to come on up because I don't know what he's referring to as far as Floyd go.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get him. Corey's a man. Just you can't ever keep up with Corey. He got so many irons in the fire. But
Uh, I kind of think I know where he's going with it, but I don't want to speculate. Corey,
yeah,
if you still in the chat, give us a little explanation of what you meant by with the Floyd comment.
yeah, because of course, we fair across the board on our stuff. So whatever needs to be said is gonna be said
Oh
for
yeah.
either side. But yeah, man, you're right though. Man, Garcia's made a ton of money, and he's been a big sale. You know what I'm saying? He's been a big
Hmm.
sale in the boxing community. Uh, Before I knew of any of these comments and things like that, I did learn that Garcia, popular fighter, with a belt or no belt, he has a following, and his numbers show. Like even with the fight with Tank, he wasn't even ready for that level of fight, but that fight sold, and mainly because of Garcia's fanfare. But he says Floyd's love affair with
And Floyd
Garcia.
just as bad too, because Floyd, you platformed him, but Floyd is from our lineage too. Now, Floyd's with Floyd, I put him in the same boat that I put a Stephen A. Smith, what I put the Dez Bryant. Black people stop giving these undue props to other communities because I mean, there's a lot of black fighters, a lot of better black fighters that you could have put your support behind. I'm not saying we should segregate who we supporting as a community, but I am saying that other people It's mainly Hispanics. They segregate their support and it's strictly to their people. Most do not go behind black fighters. So if that is indeed true, which it is true, what he said, yeah, Floyd Mayweather, you need to be called out for that too. Anybody can get it. I don't see nothing wrong with supporting what look like you. But for some reason, we as black people, we have an issue when we don't want to be looked at as being racially biased. And I understand that because people have done that to us historically. So we don't want that label on us. But I say to you this, to all those who don't want that, everybody else does it. And nobody says anything. I want to see every media outlet stick a camera and a microphone in the face of every Hispanic boxer and ask them what they think of the Ryan Garcia situation. Every Hispanic entertainer, every Hispanic athlete in all sports. I want to know what you think about Ryan Garcia. And the only reason I want that is because that's what they do to us.
Yeah, I mean, what's fair is fair. And another thing that that does is it puts the pressure on. You know what I'm saying? It turns the pressure on because now what they may say, you know, it can and will be used against them. So they that'll put them right there on the spot to make the comments, whether they got to say quote unquote what they really feel or what's the right thing or whatever. But that puts that pressure on them to
Mm-hmm.
be a part of this situation and not be way back in the background and just kind of scave off. Because man, you know, there's been several situations where you're right. A lot of people had to answer questions to things that they didn't even have anything to do with, but because of the your ethnic background, you do have something to do with it. So that should be done across the board. And as long as things are done across the board, I'm good with it.
That's all I ask for. I want everybody. If we can't all be comfortable, let's all be equally uncomfortable. Let's spread
Absolutely.
this out all the way around. How you treat us is how we're going to start treating you.
That's right. And you know what, Hot Tub? This gave me some more ideas and some things that I'm gonna chop up with you off camera because we got some episodes coming up with this upcoming football season. And I'm talking about the college football season, and we're gonna talk about in the college basketball season and other things. There's something that's gonna spin off of this conversation that we definitely gonna need a panel on, and a lot of people are gonna not like what's gonna be said, and that's why I think it's going to be great. But I'll talk to you about that off camera, and we're gonna really make this happen because it's some things that you said today, some points that you made, and then and even what Corey just said right here. It doesn't matter as much as the community backs its own and supports itself. That's going to be a part of that panel, that conversation that we're going to have with the upcoming collegiate season, and some things that have been on my mind for years, and some things that a lot of people in the African American community don't want to tackle, but we're going to do it, and I can't wait. I can't wait for you to approve it, and then we're going to move forward on it. But with us getting closer to the end for this morning, Ryan Garcia. Okay, we want more pressure put on him, more pressure put on his community of athletes and media outlets and so on and so forth. More pressure on our people to put more pressure on this situation
Mm-hmm.
and other networks too. But what do you think is next for Garcia? What would you want to see? And I'm saying post all the scrutiny and everything, what do you see for him? Do you see a return to boxing? Do you see
I
a
hope
return to
not.
boxing with some exceptions, or what?
I want Garcia to fail in every aspect of life. I hope he lose every dime he's made. I hope he never box again. That's my stance, and that should be our stance across the board because that would be their stance when it comes to us. I want him to get the same treatment y'all giving Chris Brown for the last 20 years. I want this to be brought up every time you see Ryan Garcia in public. I want him to go to the grocery store and they bringing this up. If he taking his little girl to recital, I want it to be brought up by somebody in that audience. I want it to be brought up when he's at a PTA meeting. I want it to be brought up when he's at a traffic light. I want it to haunt him for the rest of his life. That's what I want.
All right. That's from Hot Tub. Corey says he's a clown with a right. Yeah, he did have a right hand, but or whatever it was a hook or something. One of his best swings, one of his best punches was a hook. But anyway, he got the hook, and so he's out of here. Ryan Garcia and and his fight camp, they're out of here. All right, man. So what about with Oscar De La Hoya? Um, what do you think about him and his camp and what's going to happen there?
Yeah, I mean, this well documented the soft racism that comes out of the Golden Boy camp, especially with their lack of black fighters. So that is not surprising what they foster from their camp. I want to see a check cut to the family of George Floyd from Golden Boy and Ryan Garcia personally, because let us not forget in his racist rant, he not only disrespected the George Floyd, he said, I want y'all to dig him up so we can kill him again.
Mm,
Cut a check for that Floyd family. I mean, a big check. You're
wow,
right. You're right, Corey. That's not his job to get black fighters. I want that same energy with all the black promoters that have Hispanic fighters on their roster. It's not my job to get you fights.
wow.
It's not my
Oh man,
job to promote you as a Hispanic fighter. Keep that same energy across the board. You're right. It ain't their job, and it ain't our job to platform you neither. So keep fighting them chicken fights down in Mexico then. We
and there
don't
it
have to
is.
give you opportunities. You don't give us opportunities. All I'm asking, I'm not asking for nothing that's out the way. I'm saying to everybody, keep that same energy. Hold your own nuts.
All right, with that said, that's Tub. All right, appreciate Tub in the building. Corey, appreciate you in the comments. Um, stay tuned because college football's coming up, and you're gonna hear more from Corey on Triple Option and Hot Tub. We're gonna be here on a weekly basis. We have some other topics that we're gonna be tackling here, and so get ready for that. We got a couple things lined up for you. All right, let's see what else Corey got before we go. The black promoters' loyalty is to the dollar, is what Corey says.
Hey, some things got to be bigger than money. The empowerment of your
Amen.
people, the respect of your people should be bigger than money, because the other groups is bigger than for them. So it's time we as a people start, and I get where Corey's going with it, but it's time we as a people start getting on code. That starts with us. And that starts with us demanding that people who disrespect us are made to feel punishment. Stances like mine don't sound sexy. It sounds like I'm some kind of radical when most black folks hit me. But guess what? This the stance they take. I'm just giving that same energy back.
Yep. Oh, we sold that a long time ago, according to Corey. And that again, that's gonna tie into a lot of stuff that we're gonna be talking about real soon here. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share, because sharing is caring. Make sure you go to 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. Make sure you go to Mr. 411 on TikTok and Mr. 411 on Instagram. Make sure you do all those things. Hot Tub, you do have Instagram, is that correct?
Yes, I do. That's Hot Tub Tony ATL on Instagram.
All right, Hot Tub Tony ATL on Instagram. Make sure you get there. A lot of good stuff over there. I check it out every day, and you should too. All right. Well, for Corey, for Mr. 401, I'm Mr. 401, and for Hot Tub Tony, the king of controversy. We thank everybody on this Sunday morning for taking your time to
411
attend
merch
us.
coming soon.
Absolutely, the merch is in progress right now, and it is coming. There's Corey again. We want to ban their food and lunch counters over empowerment. All right. Yeah, Corey. Well, I tell you, you're bringing it, Corey. You're bringing it. But yeah,
That
the
sentiment
merchant.
is changing though. That we did
Yeah.
have that problem a generation ago, a couple generations ago. But with these young folks, they're not looking for integration. They're looking for empowerment. And I applaud the Gen Z and with Gen Z and Gen Alpha that are coming in behind us and demanding what we should have demanded during the civil rights generation. It's just true black empowerment. So salute
Well,
to
I'll
them
tell
for
you,
that.
man, you just hey, look, if you listen to this episode, all these things right here is all gonna tie together. And tell let's make sure we had that meeting so we can get that lined up. It's a big idea that I want to see us run take it to the finish line with. So for Hot Tub, for Corey, I'm just 4-1. Thank everybody. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.